If there is one thing that I can tell you that many Aquarius share, it is an obsession with freedom. And the other day, I was looking through the inspirations. I told you about the inspirations on the YouTube community section or the YouTube studio. And it said Aquarius obsession with freedom. So I've never talked about this. I mean, I've said it. I've said that we have to be free, but I don't think I've ever gone into the thought processes that go around it. And I was also hoping that some other Aquarius would chime in the comment section and tell me about their feelings and thoughts about being free. Because I definitely have some. And I think we should chat about it, okay? My name is QueenAusetHeru. And thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to other people who are wondering about this too. Likewise, if you want to get a reading done, please hit me up. All my personal information will be underneath this video. My Amazon wish list is underneath this video because gifts are my love language. Thank you to everybody who has sent me gifts over the years and recently. Let me see what else is underneath there. My Patreon is underneath there. I want to do more on Patreon, but I don't know what you guys want, you know? So I'm trying to figure out what you guys want, and I want to do more fun stuff. I wanted to do a book club. Some people were wishy-washy about it. I don't know. I want to figure out things we can do together. Maybe talk once a week or something like that. Because I feel like my Patreon is boring to me. I want to do fun stuff with it. So check it out. You know, let's see. Let's do some fun stuff. So, all right, let's take a look. The obsession with freedom. It does look like an obsession. I would say that. Especially if you're on the outside looking at. You know, if you're a different sign, it probably does look like an obsession. Is it an obsession? Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to tell you how I feel about freedom. Freedom is the most important thing to me, other than I would say love. I would say it's right up there with love. And the reason why is because I don't know about all Aquarius, but many of us hate being controlled. I don't mind the illusion of control. Okay, we can do some S&M type stuff. You know, we can do some bondage. We can do some stuff like that. I don't mind the illusion of control. But honest control, like another person controlling my life, I couldn't do. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was saying that her husband, she got married, doesn't want her to work. And she's Aquarius. And she was like, the concept, and this has been a big thing between them, because the concept to her of not having any money of her own represents a lack of freedom. So her and her husband are at the brink of divorce because he wants a stay-at-home wife and she wants her freedom. And not freedom to the extent to see other men or to mess around, nothing like that. Just to have her own money. Her own money that she made herself. You know, so that's a big thing between them right now because he's like, well, I make enough money. You know, we don't need you to make money. And she's like, but I don't have money. That's your money, you know? So they're going back and forth about that. And the whole thing that came up wasn't security. It wasn't greed. It wasn't shopping. It was freedom. She doesn't want to feel like he has control of her. And he will. He'll have control of her, the finances, the house. And for a lot of women, especially women back in the old days, they will tell you this is a recipe for disaster. Because if your husband or your wife or anybody is controlling your life, what happens when they're not there to control it anymore? What happens if they pass away? What happens if they leave you? What happens if, you know, what happens if something occurs and that person is no longer in your life? Now, they've been controlling your whole life for the past 25, 30 years. And now what are you going to do? Now you have to figure out how to be. And a lot of women ran into this problem specifically in the old days. You know, back when women weren't allowed, and we ain't talking that far back, by the way. We're talking about the 1970s. I was born in 77, okay? So when I was born, women still were just getting rights, such as being able to get a mortgage, being able to get a credit card, stuff like that, you know, depending on the state that they were in, being able to have custody of their children, all kinds of stuff like that. People take for granted, but women, that's why women's rights was important in the 1900s, because these types of things that I'm talking about, these freedoms, you know, women were not able to exercise. So when a lot of women, when their husbands left or their husbands passed away or when something happened, they found themselves in awful situations because they had been controlled their whole lives by their father, their brother, their husband, you know, and now you're a widow. Now what? Gotta find another husband to control you. So for a lot of people in that situation, a lot of women in that situation, it's freaking awful. So the obsession with freedom for many people is just that, the need to take care of themselves, the need to be free because it makes them feel comfortable. As an Aquarius, I don't feel comfortable with someone else, you know, having control of me and my life. So that's where this obsession with freedom comes in. We want to be free, free to make our own choices, free to go wherever we want to go, just free. Even if we don't want to go nowhere, the fact that we can go somewhere. And for a lot of signs, freedom really isn't a big deal. It depends on who you're talking to. Some signs will say yes, but many signs it's not really a big deal. But for an Aquarius, it's life or death, because being free, and I'm talking about financial freedom too. Financial freedom is a big one, but having the freedom to go where you want and do what you want is a big thing. I was talking to another Aquarius and they were telling me that when their money is messed up, they get really depressed. And I was like, same. Same. That's the financial freedom aspect, because you're not free to buy the things you want, to buy the things you need, to go where you need to go. You know, so financial freedom is another big freedom that goes along with that. And I think a lot of signs can understand financial freedom, but they may not necessarily understand Aquarius's need to be free. A lot of us, even, like, for instance, I know a lot of Aquarius who don't live with their partners because they want to be free. Even if the partner can come and go in and out of their place, they want the freedom of having their own space to retreat to when they can. You know, I know other Aquarius, and this, of course, like I said, isn't all of us, but I know some Aquarius who have a separate bedroom in their house from their significant other. Even if they sleep in the same room, they have a cave or, you know, an office or some kind of room or a separate bedroom even, just so they have a place they can go be free, you know? Also, a lot of Aquarius struggle with this with work, okay? I know a lot of Aquarius who have jobs, regular jobs, teacher, lawyer, whatever, and they can't stand it because there's no freedom. I always tell Aquarius, if you have the option, take a job that offers you the most freedom. Do freelance or consulting or IT, where you can just come in, fix something, and leave. You know? So a lot of us, that freedom isn't in just one area. It's all over. It's finances, it's career, it's relationships. We are obsessed with that freedom. Many of us are. I know I am. I very much am. And like I said, as a profession, it's nothing better for an Aquarius than working for yourself or working from home, you know, even if it is for another person. Like I said, with consulting, you're working for another person, but you're free, you're independent, you know. That freedom, that independence is one of our Aquarius obsessions. So let me know in the comment section, are you one of the Aquarius that's obsessed with freedom? Do you know any that are? And if you're not an Aquarius that's obsessed with freedom, what are you obsessed with? And come back soon, because I got a lot more to say. See you later.